is so wonderful to greet you. I want to introduce you to our friends. I'm Bishop Dr. LaDonna Osborne of Osborne Ministries International in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And my guest today is Apostle Axe Freeman from Liberia, that's in West Africa. And we're going to have a wonderful discussion that's going to encourage you, give you a peek into not only Liberia, but into Apostle Freeman's ministry. Thank you so much, Apostle, for being with me today. I know it's an effort. We have a good connection. And I will just say for our listeners, you have a wonderful school, hundreds of students that's right there on your property. And so
Yes.
you've asked the children to keep the volume down while we're recording. But for our listeners, if they hear children in the background, we'll know what it is. And we'll remember that your ministry to the children is very vital. So I would
Yeah.
like to just visit with you for a few minutes about how we met. Let's talk about how we met and what that has, what influence that has had on your ministry. Anything you want to tell us?
Okay. Thank you, Bishop. Thank you, Bishop. It's a privilege to be uh, on this show or on in this interview.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was privileged to have met with Bishop Ladon and Osborne um, in the year 2010 when I was still a missionary in the Republic of Benin, where I did missions. And then she was invited to the nation of Benin for the Festival of Miracles and with other pastors, the entire Christian community. And I was privileged to have said. And then at the end of the program, at the end of the meeting, she had a meeting with some of the pastors. And I was privileged to have been in that meeting. And then we got connected when she discovered that I was a missionary. And then she said, where do you come from? And I said, I'm from Liberia. She said, wow. And then from there, we just got connected and so forth. But what really moved me in that, and before that meeting was, the simplicity of the gospel that Dr. Ladonna preached. I've been preaching, I've been in the preaching career for some time. But the message she preached was so simple. It was my first time to hear about the four sins of the gospel from the God's big picture book that she wrote. Talks about God's creation, talks about Christ's substitution, and then our restoration. When she brought that so simple, as she began to pray for people, Christ was magnified, and I was like, how can this simple gospel works? And so I began to pattern my own ministry after her ministry. And so since that time, I have seen evidence of Christ in my ministry. I have seen, it's no more trying to make efforts. It is Christ that has been magnified, and it is Christ that have done the work. So that is how we met. And since that time, I have been patterning my ministry in the order of the husband ministry. And I've seen the same results.
That is, to me, one of the most powerful testimonies to the truth and the power of the gospel. Because it's not the personality, it's the message. Jesus says, go with the message. It is the power of God that brings salvation. And Apostle Freeman, in the years that I've known you, I've loved you. I've loved working with you multiple occasions. And when I see a man of your stature, you're respected in your own nation, you have a wonderful community of influence, a church and outreaches. But I'm always impressed when I see a leader who is willing to learn, who's willing to stretch and see something from another perspective, especially something that we've already been preaching. As you said, you've been a preacher.
Yes.
But I just want to commend you for that
Thank you.
heart and for what you've continued to do. Thank you for sharing that
Thank you.
part of your story with us.
This is Tsetse Demirkova from Bulgaria. Come and connect to the global family of the ICCC, your connection to the world. Click to discover more at the ICCC.org. Once again, that is the ICCC.org. Здравейте, казвам се Цеци Демиркова от България и искам да ви поканя да се свържете с глобалното семейство на ICCC. Вашата връзка със света. За да откриете повече информация, посетете веб страницата на theICCC.org. Още веднъж, това е theICCC.org.